All right, so our weekly workshops will take place every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We will cover a different topic each week, and you can register for our weekly workshops through our website under the events tab, or you can also use the link that is displayed on the screen right now. I encourage all of you to join as many as possible so that you can learn tips and tricks on how to make the most of Birdview for your work. All right. So with each session, we will start with a demo on the topic that we are covering, and we will then use the last 10 minutes to go over any questions or feedback that any of you have. So please feel free to send in your questions in the chat box or simply raise your hand virtually, and we will get to them once the demo part of the session is over. So our topic this week is organize your workday with Birdview. We are going to cover, first of all, how to create filters within the Activity Center and how to use them to drill down within your projects and your activities. We will then move on to creating saved views to help better access your projects and your activities within the system so that it kind of eases your workflows. And we will also learn how to create a template or to save an existing project as a template. And finally, we'll move on to the My Assignments page, which will help us easily access the activities that are assigned, that we are assigned to within the system. All right, so the first topic that we have to discuss is the Activity Center and filters within the Activity Center. So right now you are taking a look at all of my my projects within my system. And what I would like to do is use filters to pick specific projects or specific activities that I would like to view and work on. So you do have the filters tab up here on the right-hand side of the screen. While I have a few of these filters already available to me, a few fields for the filters available to me, you can also pick the fields that you want to use as filters. So if you click on this plus sign right here, you have access to a number of different filters within the system. For example, you have some based on status, where you can look at things like activity status or project status, or even activities with milestones in them. You can also look at resources and constraints. So you can look at activity assignees or project start and end dates, even activity start and end dates, and filter projects through those options. You could look at time options where you're looking at hours, even estimated and actual hours. Also financials in terms of budgets and costs. You also have billable projects and build options, profit as well. And finally, you have options to filter based on project and activity progress, as well as to find specific projects within the system, projects belonging to specific portfolios or projects that you are working on for specific customers. All right, so it's as easy as just toggling on and off these buttons right here to add them as options to use as filters. So the way that this would work is, let's say I wanted to look at all of my projects that are assigned or that were due last month. I'm going to select project end date, and I'm going to pick previous month as an option. So if I do that, I can now see the project that was actually due last month. As you can see, the end date right here, it is indicating that it's red, which means that it hasn't been completed as yet. So this is a good way to look at projects past due or projects that are delayed. You can also do this based on activity end dates. So activities within certain projects that have ended late. So I'm going to click previous month right here. And if I expand further on this project, I can see all of the activities within that project that were due last month. You can also use multiple different filters at the same time. So if you wanted to look at, let's say, activity assignees or team members that are connected to these activities, You can click on that. You can also at the same time look at activities that have a start date from next month. So you know that certain team members are going to be working on these activities for the following month. So you can have as many filters on at the same time. This becomes a very easy way for you to access your projects and activities without having to search for them physically and scroll up and down within the system. Let's say that I have certain filters that I want to use or certain projects that I have to access on a regular basis, and I don't necessarily want to jump into the system every day and use these filters. I can also save certain views. So as an example, let's say in terms of the customer I'm working with, I have several projects for the customer Weekend Corp, and this is a customer that I have to work on projects for every day. So I can use the filter, search for those projects, and simply save this view. I would click on the activity center up here. I can give my view a name. So in this case, we'll call it Weekend Corp Projects, and I can hit apply. So now you have that saved view up here. Let's say I'm back to the activity center. I'm back to looking at all of my projects in the system, but now I don't want to jump into filters to find the projects that are assigned to Weekend Corp. I can simply look at my saved views here on the left-hand side, click on that saved view, and it's automatically going to pull up those projects that are within this filter that I've created and the saved view that I've created. So it makes it a lot easier for you to group all the work you have into different saved views and access them easily. All right. We will now move on to the third topic, which is templates. So this is where I'm going to show you how to convert a project into a template. But firstly, the purpose of templates is so that you don't have to waste time recreating a project or manually adding the steps, the tasks, the subtasks, the assignees on a regular basis. So if you know you have a project that's going to be repetitive, you can always convert that into a template by simply clicking on the status right here and converting it. So let's pick project for ABC. All right, so I'll just use the filter here first so that we don't have anything else on the screen. So these are the steps that I know I'm going to repeat for the project in the future. So I will click on status, change this to a template, and it's automatically going to save these steps along with these durations, even the assignees to this project for me in a template. So the good thing to keep in mind is that you can add whatever you like to a project before you save it as a template. If this project had certain files and attachments, maybe some billing information, it would all remain within the template for you to pull up to the next project as well. All right, so now that I've converted this to a template, what I'd like to do is create a new project using this template with these steps in it. All right, so let's filter out here. I can access all of my templates from right here on the right-hand side of new project. And I'm going to pick project for ABC. That was the template we just created. And when I click on it, I can now give this project a new name. So let's say this is project DEF. When I click enter, you will see that it has automatically created that project. If I expand on the project, I can see the tasks and subtasks from the previous template we created all show up right here. You have the durations that have been added. It has also taken today's date as the start date and has automatically filled in the rest of the dates, as well as all of the assignees from the saved project have shown up here as well. So it has saved quite a bit of time versus me having to manually type out all of this information and reassign it to the team members. All right, so that was the template part of the demo. The next and final portion will be the My Assignments page. So the My Assignments page is used. It can be used by project managers, team members, or anyone in general that has work within the system. So while the Activity Center will give you a great overview of all of the projects in the system and all of the activities connected to it, if you want to access just the work that's been assigned to you, you simply click on My Assignments, where you have a list of all of those activities. You can group these in different ways. So let's say if you were to group them by project, you would be able to see the project name. And within that, you'd be able to see all of the tasks that have been assigned to you for that project. You can also do it based on customer name. So if I were to click that, I can see the name of the customer and all of the tasks within projects for that customer that I am assigned to. If you look here on the right-hand side of the name of the task, or you can also see the project that it's connected to. So this is a great way to work on tasks if you're looking at them based on customers, similar to the saved view that we created. If you do it based on end date, you're able to look at a daily view. In this case, you are seeing tasks that were due from last month, which haven't been completed as well. I can also view my tasks that are due later, and I can view tasks that are ongoing as well. So these would be tasks that have started already, but haven't yet been completed. And so they fall under the ongoing tab. The good thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to necessarily pull in tasks into this view. The system will do it for you automatically. So whenever a task is assigned to you by a manager or within the Activity Center, it's going to show up here. You can also do a lot more than just view your tasks here. So you can also look to view more information about that task. So if you click on it, you have access to the Collaboration Center here, where you can view more information. You can also look at tracking time. You can send and receive messages and attach files, all from right here itself. And if you want to mark a task as complete, you simply click on this check sign and it's automatically going to disappear from your active activities, and it probably move to the completed activities tab right here. So you can view both active activities as well as completed activities. You also have the option to add an activity if you do have the permissions within the system. So in order to do that, you click on that add activity option. You can give your activity a name. It always has to be connected to a project within the system. So you can pick the project it's connected to. You can choose your parent activities as well, if in case it's going to be a subtask within the system. Add your start and end dates and simply hit save. So this becomes quite a good option for team members to be able to quickly analyze what work they have to do for that specific day, week, on a specific project, or for a specific client, without having to search for those tasks within the Activity Center. All right, so that's all we have for today in terms of the demo part of this of the workshop. I will leave it now to the floor for anyone who has questions on anything that I've spoken about today. Would you like to maybe send your question in the chat, or simply raise your hand and we can take a look? Okay, Margaret, I see that you have a question. Would you like to maybe, if you can unmute and go ahead with your question.
I just wanted to check, as a manager, if I want a task to no longer show up in someone else's My Assignments page, do I go to this where I schedule hours in there for an activity and then just click I'm done on their work status, will that do the same thing as if they check the task and say that they're done?
So I have a clarifying question for that.
Yes,
So
go ahead.
what you want to do is no longer allow them to work on that task, or you want to remove?
Yes.
Yes, so I would suggest doing that from the activity center where, let's say, project DEF.
Okay.
All right, let's say I don't want Fabian to be working on it. What I would do is simply remove Fabian right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep. If you mark someone as, like, let's say I were to go into the My Assignments page and click on this check sign here, it will show that that person has already worked on the task. So it won't show that they're no longer part of it. But if you want to remove them directly, it's going to show that they weren't part of that activity or that task at all.
And what if they worked on it, say they put 3 hours in, but then I need to move them to a different task? And
yes, in that case, it would be best to say that use the I'm done button. So you can ask them to go ahead and click on that.
okay. And if I don't want to ask them, I just want to click that they're done, does it work? I found if I go into the schedule hours section, like if I'm where I would assign people to a task. Trying to think how did I get here? If I click on details on a single task and then I go to
okay, let's do that.
And then I go to assignees right there where it says 0 assignees.
Yep.
And then I go to schedule hours at the top.
Yep. So if I add, let's say, myself, and I'm going to add Fabian. So your question is whether
if I click on in progress and change that to I'm done, does that do the same thing as them
Yes.
checking it off? And
Yes,
so that
it
would
does.
move it out of their activity center.
Absolutely. Yes.
And do they get a notice about that, or is that it just happens?
It depends on the notifications that have been set in the system. So
Okay.
if they get a notification for something that's been completed, it will show up. However, if it's them that's completing it, it shouldn't, but I can take a look and get back as a confirmation. If that's all right with you, can I send over an email to you with that answer?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. We do have our next workshop on the 11th of April. We will be showing you the most efficient ways to track time in the system. And on the 18th of April, we will discuss project workflows. So once again, you can register on the website under the events tab, or you can simply use the link that I have posted on the screen right now. Thank you all for joining today. I hope this was helpful. And also your suggestions are always welcome. We value your suggestions a lot. So if you do have any recommendations for topics that you would like us to cover in the future, please do send in your responses to our success email. The address is on the screen right now. So please feel free to send in either questions or suggestions or just feedback on what you think of our webinars. And we would definitely like to take those into consideration.